What's up everyone, it's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and I've got 2 or 3 topics all relating to the same central thing going around in this video. So I don't know which I won't even bother giving a list off first. So just before I do start, is the reason this Fallout footage is kind of all over the place is I haven't played the game in a while, and there's been several patches and several NVIDIA graphics drivers updates, and they allege to improve performance and stability and just optimization. So I'm messing around with a bunch of settings, so you know, graphics and frame rates will be all over the place. I want to see how it goes before I can make a final setting and final judgment on the whole thing anyway. So that's the reason for that. Now, we all know a few days ago Bethesda announced some of the first Fallout 4 DLC. And on top of that, they also announced that there's going to be a price hike on the actual Season Pass. So, for those of you out there who may or may not be in, too many different crazy countries around the place, but the Fallout 4 Season Pass has been €24.99 UK pounds, or over here it's €29.99. So, that's fairly reasonable for what Bethesda usually put out for their games, at least anyway. When you look at Skyrim, when you look at Oblivion, when you look at, say, Fallout 3 is another great example. Yeah, the amount of content, the quality content was generally there, most of the time at least. Wasn't a big fan of Hardfire myself for Skyrim, but yeah, you get the idea anyway. So, it's been announced. I haven't seen it in euro what it's going to be increased to. Obviously, we use euro here, but since it's £29.99 and the price hike has been announced to be from £25 up to £40, so that's a significant increase. So I'm thinking it might go from €30 up to maybe 45, 50 euro. I could possibly see that happening. There's probably one out there. It's just probably an announcement out there that includes the euro conversions. It's just pretty much almost everywhere I've seen it has either just been the UK pounds or the dollars price. Some have both, but I haven't seen one with actual euro. So if you have seen that somewhere, let me know and point me in the direction of it down below. Anyway, they've announced that there's going to be 3 DLCs so far. They have hinted and kind of mentioned, well, they've mentioned that there's going to be more coming in 2016. Will there be actual DLCs? Who knows? Will they be part of actual just patches and updates? Again, who knows? And if they are DLCs, will they be included for the Season Pass? Given the price hike on the Season Pass, I would probably expect them to be so, simply because of some of the wording in there. It says basically what the wording in the stuff says for the Season Pass. It's like, includes all access to all the DLCs, including the 3 upcoming. So it says including those 3, implying there's more. At least that's the way I understand it anyway. But who knows? I've been known to misinterpret things in the past anyway. So that's enough of that anyway. The name of the 3 add-ons that we have details for so far, one of which will release in March, one of which will release in April, and one of which will release in May. So the first one, the one that's going to be coming out at some point in March, is Automatron, or Automatron, whatever. Okay, say that one faster. I broke it up purposely to actually emphasize the matron sound of it. So based on the picture, the main DLC picture, and the actual name of it, it sounds like there's going to be someone or something in charge of what they probably perceive as a family of robots, and they're going to just, it's possibly like the father or mother. Given the fact that it says matron, it would make sense that it's kind of a female personality up there that is possibly in charge of all this as well. There is a little bit of info for it as well. I found a UK price for Automatron, or Automatron, whatever you want to call it. It's currently going to be £7.99, so that's probably 10 or 12, 13 euro at the moment. And the main thing is it's going to revolve around the story of someone called the Mechanist. Now, most people will probably say, what, the Mechanist? No, it's actually mech with an E. So it's going to revolve around the Mechanist. And apparently the Mechanist is going to be someone who releases evil, dangerous robots all over the Commonwealth. Now, we'll find out what the deal with that is once the actual DLC comes out next month. But on top of that, they've mentioned that the Robo Brain, which you will probably remember from I was going to say Rainbow Six, from Fallout New Vegas is also back, from what I understand at least anyway, from the way everything is phrased. So they've also said that you can build and mod your own custom robot companion, which I think is pretty cool. That's the main thing it looks like in most of the pictures that they show off for it anyway. It basically looks like you have a giant servitor robot with you, and it's one of the military ones, and they're just going to kick ass and just destroy all the stuff. They've also mentioned that there's going to be hundreds of mods that Bethesda have said are going to include with this personal DLC. And they've mentioned that there will be a new lightning chain gun, which probably will be beast, because if it's anything like the laser Gatling gun, it could even be better. So the next DLC is the upcoming one, and that is going to be this is going to be the one that's going to be available at some point in April, and it's called Wasteland Workshop. Now, I remember seeing what they originally included in the very first announcement for Wasteland Workshop. So, like I said, it's going to be out in April. It's listed at £4, so it's probably €5, maybe €6. And this one, the whole focus on Wasteland Workshop is it's going to let you design and create and actually use cages, and you'll be able to use those cages to capture live monsters, creatures, basically anything, even humans and things like that. I wonder if you can get synths. So it will allow you to capture, say, raiders, deathclaws, everything in between, basically, as well. And you can tame them, and you can have them fight alongside you as well as use them as defense for your settlers and your settlements. Now, there's also going to be a bunch of new options for your settlements and stuff in that as well. They haven't really said too much on the Wasteland Workshop side of it. Personally, I think this one sounds kind of weak. The fact that it's coming in at such a low price as well, that very few details have been out, and from what they have listed, there seems to be even less than what was in the first one. It all kind of points to just something that doesn't really interest me too much. I'll naturally, because I'm going to get the season pass, I don't have it yet, but I'm going to get it before March 1st, before it goes up in price. So, because of all that, I mean, yeah, I'll go there, I'll check it out, I'll to avail of some of the new upgrades and options and stuff like that. There's probably a new main quest line, I'll go through that. Sure, I realize it's just my opinion on this one. I'm sure a lot of people out there might prefer the kind of style that this would add. I mean, I know a lot of people would probably want a Deathclaw fighting beside them as well. Personally, I just couldn't well, off the top of my head right now, I couldn't be bothered, but we'll see how it's implemented anyway, and I'll reserve my judgment for there. It's might not be my cup of tea. It sounds very akin to what Skyrim had in Heartfire, which also wasn't I'm a big fan of micromanaging and stuff like that, and just it's kind of optional lore stuff. But at the same time, it didn't really do it for me. But who knows? Like I said, we'll find come April when Wasteland Workshop actually releases. So next up is the third DLC, and this is what sounds like the most meaty and proper significant DLC of the three of them. This one is going to be out in May. It's called Far Harbour, and it's priced at £20 UK, so £20 sterling. That's roughly €30, give or take a little bit, depending on exchange rate. So naturally, I can see with the price of this one they're adding, I can see why they're upping the season pass a little bit. And because of the price of this one, it sounds like it's going to be a proper full add-on, okay? So that's why I'm really most excited about this one. A perfect example, actually, was when I saw the original announcement for this. I was in work on Tuesday when these announcements were made, and one of the guys was on his lunch break, and he knows I like Fallout. He saw it on his phone, and he was scrolling through, I think it was like Facebook or something like that, and he called out to me. He came out and goes, "Hey, look, Bethesda just announced some Fallout DLC for the Season Pass." So he was scrolling through the pictures, and as he showed the first one, the Automatron one, he looked at it, I said, "Okay, that one could be okay, I don't know, let's see." Then he showed me the Wasteland Workshop one. I was like, that one doesn't look or sound too great from what I see here so far. And then he showed me the Far Harbour picture. Now, that was just the one with the boat on the waves. It was like the front of a comic style. I was like, that looks like it's going to be a proper DLC. That one is going to be good. I'm feeling this one. And I just think that's funny, because once I read all the actual info and the actual info came out, I basically ended up being right about it. So the main thing is, anyway, Far Harbour, out in May. It's going to be £20, roughly €30, probably. It's just a guess, and they could change prices and all. And because this one sounds like an actual DLC and all, it seems we have new proper areas, new proper stories, there's a new proper basically everything anyway. So the main storyline, of course, that occurs in this one, it takes place for Valentine's Detective Agency. So I'm sure you've all played a little bit into Fallout 4 at this point. You know who Nick Valentine is, and you know that he's just a complete badass. He's my personal he's my personal companion. I always use him for everything unless I'm working up other perks from other people. I have Nick with me the whole time just because he's just such a badass. That's all I can say. But anyway, the main thing that we know about this so far is it involves searching for a young woman and a secret colony of synths, even, whatever you want to say. I'm not sure how that's going to go. We'll find out, of course. But the main thing is that you travel to a new location of Far Harbour, which is afflicted with much higher levels of radiation, and as a result, they give it the description of a much more feral world. There's a conflict in between, there's a three-way conflict, which is between the locals, the children of Adam, and the synths. So we'll see how all that one goes anyway. Personally, from all the stuff I've read and seen about this one so far, the Far Harbour expansion, it feels a lot like Point Lookout from Fallout 3. There was a Point Lookout DLC for Fallout 3, which was an excellent DLC. I thought that was really good. And if it's anything like that, it's definitely going to be a thing. It actually reminded me a lot of it when I saw the original, the comic book art style announcement for Far Harbour. Once I saw that, I was like, that reminds me of Point Lookout, and that's definitely a good thing anyway. So also included with Far Harbour, it's going to be the largest land area, basically the largest new map and all that, for any add-on that they've ever created. And it's going to have new quests for different factions. It's going to have new settlements and new settlement related stuff, new creatures, new monsters, new enemies, new dungeons. There's also going to be higher level armor and weapons, which I'm really happy for, because frankly I've been stuck with the same armor and the same weapons I've had for a minute. So I've been stuck with them, and they're just kind of boring at this point. I can easily, depending on what enemy I run into, I can easily swap into whatever's needed and just destroy pretty much anything. I take, for the most part, not too much damage, so I can't really complain about that. And when I jump into my power armor, I'm basically unstoppable. So that's all the main stuff we've covered on here. We've gone over the 3 DLCs that Bethesda have announced so far, the price hike of the season pass. So once again, I'll just say it out there real quick. If you do plan on getting the DLCs and all that as well, get the season pass before March 1st. Simply because that way you'll pay the lower price. It's €29.99 at the moment. That's going to be hiked up come March 1st. I'm unconfirmed on the exact price because I haven't seen it. There's probably one out there, but yeah, So £25, €30, $30. So that's going up. Get that if you want a DLC at a cheaper price. So that brings me back to the second part of this video. And that is the fact that I'm now back playing Fallout 4. I don't think I've played Fallout 4 this year at all, if I remember right. And with the announcement of the DLC, I've decided that I'm going to start playing it again. I'm going to continue on my file where I left off, make my character even stronger. I don't think I can really get better geared at this point. But I'm doing all that to get back into the swing of things. So I'll be ready for the DLC. So what's the first one? We call it Automatron. Yeah, they're Automatron, whatever you want to call it. When that comes out in March next month, I'll be ready for it. So I'm currently level 50. Just turned level 51 in a few minutes ago. I'm going to continue up. I'm going to get my level up to, I don't know, whatever it turns out to be at the time. Maybe like 60, 70, 75. Who knows what it'll be. And I'm going to max out my perks. Like, obviously, I went straight for the main perks I actually wanted for my playstyle. There's a couple I'd like to have as well at the same time. They're the ones I'm really focused on. I'm mainly going to try to get all those out of the way, simply because it'll benefit my actual playstyle. And then if I continue going on before the DLC comes out, what I will actually do is I'll start picking the perks that I don't really care about, just simply to use them, max out my stats, try explore everywhere, try finish all the extra little quests lined up, providing, of course, I don't get hit with a DLC, or not a DLC, a game-breaking glitch. I know I used to not be able to finish one of the the Minutemen quest lines. Hopefully that's been patched out. I haven't actually gone and checked yet. But yeah, that's why I'm getting back into it, and I want to try get all that in the best possible situation to be prepared for the upcoming DLCs. So what's it like to come back to Fallout 4 after such, well, we call it such a large amount of time, simply because it released at the start of November, so up to the end of the year, it was like a month and a half, little over a month and a half between release and the end of the year. And then again, we're talking another month and a little over a half before I actually decided to play it again and get back into it. So because of all that, there's been multiple patches in-game with various types of fixes, changes, improvements, whatever have you. The most interesting ones that I was interested in and affected me directly were things like, say, optimization, stability, performance, graphics update, not so much graphics updates, but better GPU usage and things like that. They were the main ones that affected me. Hence why you see in the video that we're playing, I'm going through now, is I'm testing out new settings. So the frame rate is all over the place, and I want to see what works for me. So that's all that part of it anyway. And it makes me think that I really wish they had waited a bit longer. Like, I mean, we saw the state Fallout was in November when it finally released. So if it was in that state in November, if they had waited and got it to around the state that it's in now, give or take maybe another patch, if they had waited to release that in maybe March or maybe even February, maybe March, I think it would have went so much better. Simply because the performance would have been significantly better. Fair enough. I mean, I'm running at almost full settings, but one or two things turned down. But some better performance issues, just better stabilization, better optimization, not just for my specific set of hardware, but just in general, just the game in general on other pieces of hardware in general as well. So it feels like it would have benefited from another couple of months. Now, having said that, we all know, if you've seen my previous videos on Fallout before, that I'm not the biggest fan of Fallout 4. It was probably the best and most interesting game I played last year. It's kind of good as an open world exploration role-playing game, but very bad as a Fallout game. I'm sure you've probably read and heard that in a million other articles and videos at this point, and I have to agree with it for the most part. So anyway, that's just a quick touch on that. But the fact is that it's still a decent enough game, and the DLC is hopefully going to keep me going with that too. And to get back into it, it took a couple of minutes to remember how to do everything, remember the buttons, remember the shortcuts, just basically all that kind of stuff. The menu system as well, the inventory, the stats system. A lot of it was, I remember it being kind of awkward after they changed over from, say, Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and they kind of improved, or no, not improved, that's a bad word. They kind of improved one or two other things actually, yeah. But at the same time, they kind of dumbed everything down a bit too much, which really hurt the role-playing game / Fallout aspect of it. But it's still a decent game anyway. I really, really wish it could have waited and maybe possibly released at the end of this year, or even in a few months, because my computer is it's above the minimum requirements. It's a little bit under the recommended. I don't even like settling for recommended. Usually I'm a go big or go home guy. So, I mean, I have all my PC parts for my new computer with the exception of the GPUs, because I'm waiting for the next, the 10 series, the Pascal series GPUs from NVIDIA. I'm waiting for them to come out, and I'm going to see what they offer. Probably get like whatever their top of the line will be at the time. I'll probably be like 4 Titans instead of just 4 980s or 1080s, I should say. Maybe 4 1080s, 4 Titans, 4 1080 Ti's, whatever is top of the line at the time. And I know Fallout, last I checked at least anyway, didn't properly run SLI. I don't think it ran SLI at all actually, but there was a way to kind of force alternate frame rendering, but it only gave me like a 1 or 2% frame boost on my current setup. So either way, to have a single core extremely powerful card like that, let alone 4 of them, would have probably boosted my Fallout experience a good bit as well, especially because the Fallout physics are tied to the actual engine simulation based on your frame rate. So that was a whole other thing as well. So that's basically it. It's pleasant enough to get back into Fallout at this point, simply because I've been out of the game for about, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months at this point. And it's definitely something to get back into. It's definitely pleasant, and I don't even know what the words to describe it would be. It's definitely a good start anyway. So for those of you out there who are probably in the same situation as me, if you played Fallout pretty hardcore when it first came out and then kind of burned out on it, or your opinion was not the best of it, if you do plan on getting the DLC, or if you've just taken a massive break, now would probably be, well, if you've taken a massive break with the intention of actually getting back into it at some point, now would probably be a good time to do that, with all the quality of life improvements, the optimization, stabilization, and just improvements, and well, graphic driver updates at this point. It's definitely a good time to get back into it, and I think unless you actually really hated the game, I think you'd be pleasantly, maybe not surprised, but pleasantly refreshed at how the game is versus probably whatever else you're playing, and how much it feels kind of slightly new, and how much you can actually get back into it because of all your break and all from it anyway. Especially if you took a break and now you're doing what I'm doing, you're having a warm up and working your way up to your own levels of preparedness for the DLC. So let me know all the stuff you think about the Fallout 4 DLC, the Fallout 4 Season Pass, if you've taken a break, or your opinion on Fallout 4, and if you've taken a break or just stopped playing, if you've taken a break and you want to actually get back into it. Let me know all that in the comments section below, as well as if you also have found a Euro currency translation or conversion for the previous and post changes to Season Pass. So that would all benefit me as well in the long run, not just to have in the description or anything, but I use Euro over here, so it makes sense. Let me know all that in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, details in the description below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the rest of the videos in my channel. While this video has gone on way too long, but because of the Fallout, it's a return to Fallout video, and it's all about Fallout and all, I'm just going to sign off on the usual one you'd expect from Fallout, and that is DLC. DLC never changes.